everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. I am so excited about today's topic because we're talking all about AI, and it feels like every single day there's something new happening. It's moving so fast.
It really is amazing how quickly this field is advancing. We're
Yeah.
seeing breakthroughs left and right. It's hard to keep up.
I know, I feel like I'm constantly trying to catch up, but that's what's so exciting about it. It feels like we're on the verge of a real revolution.
Absolutely. We're seeing the convergence of so many different fields, computer science, neuroscience, engineering. It's creating this incredible synergy that's pushing AI to new heights.
Okay, so let's jump right in. I think one of the most mind-blowing areas of AI right now is generative AI.
Yeah.
It's gone way beyond those early image generators. We're seeing models now that seem to have real understanding.
It's incredible, right? Like those photorealistic images that are popping up everywhere online. Did you know that Cerebramind Labs developed a new diffusion model that creates those with way less computing power?
No way.
Really? Yeah. It's a big deal because it means that creating high-fidelity content is becoming more accessible to everyone, not just big companies with supercomputers.
That's awesome. I've always wanted to create my own stunning visuals. But what's really blowing my mind is the progress in natural language processing. Like those large language models, they're not just generating text anymore. They're doing complex reasoning tasks and even starting to dabble in symbolic manipulation.
It's like we're seeing the building blocks of true AI intelligence coming together.
It's wild. And what does that mean for the average person? Like, how will this impact our lives?
We'll think about things like automated code generation and debugging. That could be a huge boost in productivity for developers.
So we could be coding faster and more efficiently.
Exactly, and that's just one example. The possibilities are really endless.
And the cross-modal capabilities are just getting crazier. We're talking models that can translate between text images, audio, who knows, maybe even biological data someday.
The potential for integration is massive. Imagine models that can analyze scientific papers, translate them into visual representations, and then generate hypotheses for new experiments.
Whoa, that would revolutionize scientific
Definitely.
research.
It would accelerate the pace of discovery and lead to breakthroughs in all sorts of fields.
Okay, I need to take a breath for a second. This is all so mind-blowing. But let's move on to another area where AI is making huge strides. Robotics. What was once science fiction is becoming reality. I'm talking about robots with dexterity and intelligence.
We're seeing amazing progress in things like dexterous robot hands. These hands can perform complex manipulations that were once thought to be impossible for machines.
I saw that video of the robot hand solving a Rubik's Cube. It was incredible. It felt like it was thinking.
It's amazing, right? And what's driving this progress is reinforcement learning. These algorithms allow robots to learn through trial and error, constantly adapting to new situations.
So instead of having to program every possible scenario, the robots can actually learn and adapt on their own.
Exactly. They can experiment, make mistakes, and learn from their experiences, just like humans do.
That's wild. It's like they're developing their own intelligence.
It's a truly groundbreaking approach, and it's leading to some really exciting applications.
Like what?
Well, think about autonomous navigation. With advancements in sensor fusion and AI-powered decision-making, robots are becoming much more reliable in real-world scenarios. We're seeing this in things like logistics delivery and even search and rescue operations.
Yeah, I've seen those delivery robots scooting around my neighborhood. They're pretty cute.
Right, it's just the beginning. As AI and robotics continue to advance, we can expect to see robots playing an increasingly prominent role in our lives.
It's exciting, but also a little bit scary. What about the impact on employment? And how do we ensure that these robots are safe and behave ethically?
Those are definitely important questions. We need to be thinking carefully about the societal and ethical implications of widespread robotics. How do we design robots that work alongside humans, not against them? How do we prevent unintended consequences? These are complex issues that we need to address as this technology matures.
It's a lot to consider.
Well,
But it's clear that AI is changing the world in profound ways. And we're only just getting started.
absolutely. Buckle up because the ride is only going to get wilder from here.
I can't wait. Okay, so we've talked about some of the amazing things happening in generative AI and robotics, but none of this would be possible without the incredible advancements happening in the underlying algorithms and training methods. Let's dive into that a bit more because it's some seriously cool stuff.
You're right, we can't overlook the foundations. And when it comes to AI progress, the transformer architecture has been a real game changer. It's allowed us to train larger and more powerful models than ever before.
I've heard a lot about transformers, but I have to admit, I'm still a little fuzzy on how they actually work.
Well, in simple terms, a transformer is a type of neural network that's really good at processing sequences of data, like words in a sentence or notes in a musical piece.
Okay, that makes sense. So how is that different from other types of neural networks?
Traditional neural networks process data sequentially one element at a time, but transformers can process the entire sequence at once, which allows them to capture long-range dependencies and relationships between elements.
So they can see the bigger picture, essentially.
Exactly, and that's what makes them so powerful. They can understand the context of a sentence or a paragraph or even an entire document, which is crucial for things like natural language understanding and machine translation.
Wow, that's fascinating. So are transformers the be-all and end-all of AI algorithms?
Well, they've certainly been incredibly successful, but researchers are constantly pushing the boundaries and exploring new architectures to address the limitations of transformers.
Like,
For example, some researchers are working on architectures that are more memory efficient because transformers can be very computationally expensive to train. Others are exploring new attention mechanisms that allow transformers to focus on the most relevant parts of a sequence.
so it's all about refining and improving the existing technology.
Exactly. The innovation never stops. And then there are the breakthroughs in unsupervised and self-supervised learning. These are really exciting areas.
Okay, break those down for me. What are unsupervised and self-supervised learning?
Well, in supervised learning, you need labeled data to train your models. Like
Well,
you need to tell the model what a cat looks like in order for it to be able to recognize cats in images. But in unsupervised and self-supervised learning, the model can learn from unlabeled data. It can figure out patterns and relationships on its own.
it's amazing. It's like the AI is learning to learn on its own.
Exactly. And this is a game changer for fields where labeled data is scarce or expensive to obtain, like in scientific research or medical diagnosis.
So AI could potentially analyze massive data sets of scientific data or medical images and uncover hidden patterns that humans might miss.
Absolutely. The possibilities are truly mind-blowing. And let's not forget about the crucial role of hardware advancements. None of this would be possible without the incredible power of modern computers.
You're right. We've got specialized AI accelerators like TPUs and GPUs and even neuromorphic chips that are designed specifically for AI workloads.
It's this incredible synergy between algorithm design and hardware innovation that's driving AI progress forward at such a rapid pace.
It's remarkable to think about how far we've come in just a few short years. It feels like we're living in the future.
We are in many ways, and the future is only going to get more exciting from here.
Okay, before we get carried away with all the amazing possibilities, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, the ethical and societal implications of AI. This is a topic that we can't afford to ignore.
Absolutely. As AI becomes more powerful and pervasive, it's crucial that we have open and honest discussions about its potential benefits and risks. We need to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly for the benefit of all humankind.
Well said. And that brings us to a very important question. What does responsible AI actually look like? What are the principles that should guide its development and deployment?
That's a question that many brilliant minds are grappling with right now. But there are some emerging principles that are gaining widespread acceptance. One of the most important is fairness. We need to ensure that AI systems are fair and unbiased, and that they don't perpetuate existing inequalities or create new ones.
That's so important. We've already seen examples of AI systems exhibiting bias, whether it's in hiring, lending, or even criminal justice.
Exactly. And as AI becomes more powerful, these biases could have even greater consequences. So we need to be very intentional about designing AI systems that are fair and equitable.
What are some other principles of responsible AI?
Well, another key principle is transparency. We need to be able to understand how AI systems work, how they make decisions, and what data they're trained on. This is essential for building trust and accountability.
So no more black boxes.
No.
We need to be able to peek inside and see what's going on.
Exactly. And we also need to consider the potential impact of AI on privacy and security. AI systems often collect and process vast amounts of personal data, so we need to have strong safeguards in place to protect that data from misuse.
That makes sense. What about the impact of AI on employment? This is a concern that I hear a lot about.
It's understandable that people are worried about robots taking their jobs, but I think it's important to remember that AI is a tool. It can be used to automate tasks, but it can also be used to augment human capabilities and create new jobs.
So it's not necessarily a case of robots versus humans, but rather a shift in the types of jobs that are available.
Exactly. And we need to be prepared for this shift. We need to invest in education and training programs that will equip people with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered economy.
So it's about adapting and evolving with the technology.
Precisely. And it's not just about job skills either. We need to think about the broader societal implications of AI and how we can ensure that its benefits are shared widely and equitably.
So it's about creating a future where AI works for everyone, not just a select few.
Exactly. That's the vision we should be striving for.
I love that vision. It's inspiring, but it also feels like a huge challenge. How do we get from where we are now to that future where AI is a force for good in the world?
It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of collaboration, but I believe it's possible. We need to bring together the brightest minds from across different disciplines: computer science, ethics, sociology, economics. We need to have open and honest conversations about the challenges and opportunities that AI presents. And we need to be willing to experiment and learn as we go.
It sounds like a massive undertaking, but it's clear that the stakes are high. The future of AI is literally in our hands.
It is. And I believe that together we can create a future where AI empowers humanity and helps us solve some of the world's most pressing problems.
That's a future I'm excited to be a part of. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today, but we've only just scratched the surface of this vast and fascinating topic.
There's so much more to explore. And the field is evolving so rapidly that what we know today might be outdated tomorrow.
So we need to stay curious, stay engaged, and keep learning.
Absolutely. The journey of AI is just beginning.
So, fascinating stuff, Artie. But I kind of want to shift gears a little. Let's talk robotics. AI making images, writing code, that's one thing. But seeing it, like, move things in the real world, that's, like, next level.
Yeah, robotics is where it gets really real. We're not just talking factory robots anymore. It's like robots that can, actually do things in messy, complicated environments.
Exactly. Like, remember that video, the robot dog opening the door?
Yeah.
And how it figured out all those different handles and latches? That was, like, pure reinforcement learning magic, right?
Right, right. Reinforcement learning. It's huge in robotics, letting them learn by, doing stuff, messing up, trying again, like we do. It's key for, like, dealing with the real world, Things never go exactly as planned.
So it's not like pre-programming every single possible thing that could happen.
Yeah.
They figure it out on their own.
Exactly. They try things, mess up sometimes, then learn from it. That's how they, get good at complex stuff, moving around, picking things up. It's opening up so much in robotics.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, think surgery. Imagine a robot, like, assisting a surgeon. Super precise, tiny movements, less invasive. They're already being used, in hospitals.
Whoa. AI-powered surgery. That's the future right there.
It is the future. Happening now, though. Or disaster relief. Robots going into, like, dangerous places, helping people after, earthquakes, fires, stuff like that.
Wow. Like a first responder that doesn't get, tired or scared.
Yeah. Or even just logistics. Think warehouses, sorting packages, or, those little delivery robots?
Oh, yeah. See those around sometimes.
It's just the beginning. AI and robotics, like, working together, it's going to change, well, everything.
I'm all for easier living.
Yeah.
But what about jobs? Robots taking over.
Yeah.
And how do we make sure they're safe, like ethically safe?
Yeah, those are big questions. We got to, think about the consequences. Robotics everywhere. How do we make sure they work with us, not against us? How do we avoid, like, unintended consequences? Those are tough ones. As robots get, more everywhere.
So, like, on one hand, saving lives, helping out. But then also these huge questions we got to figure out. It's exciting, but also kind of, I don't know, a little unnerving.
It is. But that's what makes it so interesting, not just building robots, building the future, right?
Okay, I want to get a little nerdy here. What kind of AI is, like, making this happen in robotics? Those deep learning algorithms you mentioned.
Yeah, deep learning. Big time. Specifically, CNNs, convolutional neural networks, and RNNs, recurrent neural networks. They've, like, totally changed how robots, see and interact.
Okay, so break that down. What do they, like, actually do?
Well, think of CNNs like the eyes of the robot. They're amazing at analyzing images, seeing patterns, understanding what they're looking at. RNNs are more like memory. They process sequences like speech or movement. They, see how things unfold over time.
So CNNs for seeing, RNNs for understanding actions.
Yeah, exactly. And then reinforcement learning, like we said before, that's how they learn from trying stuff.
So much progress, so fast. Feels like a robotics explosion is about to happen.
It is. It really is. It's going to change everything.
Speaking of change, can't ignore the ethical stuff.
Right.
We talked a bit about it, but I think it's worth, like, really getting into it.
Totally. The ethical stuff gets more important as AI gets, more powerful, more integrated into our lives.
Bias and algorithms. That's one I keep hearing about. Like, every other day, there's a story about some AI being, biased, racial bias, gender bias, the whole deal.
It's a real problem. AI learns from data. If the data's biased, the AI is going to be biased, right?
So, like, a vicious cycle. Bad data in, bad results out. makes things even worse.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to like be aware of it.
Yeah.
And try to fix it. Use diverse data, check the results, develop ways to like unbias the algorithms.
Sounds complicated, but important, really important.
It is. Stakes are, really high. We got to make sure AI is fair, benefits everyone.
Right. Now, jobs. People are worried, robots taking over.
It's understandable to be worried. Some jobs, yeah, they'll be automated. But AI is also going to like create new jobs, new opportunities.
So not robots versus humans, but a shift in what kind of jobs there are.
Exactly. We got to be, ready for it. Education, training, help people learn the skills they need for this new AI-powered world.
So be proactive.
Hmm.
Adapt. Big challenge, though, right? Like, we also need a whole new way to think about, education, job training.
Yeah, I think so. Less rote memorization, more critical thinking, problem solving, creativity.
These are things AI is not so good at yet. It's about, working with it.
Exactly. And it's not just job skills. It's the whole picture, society, How do we make sure the benefits are for everyone?
So AI for good.
For everyone.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Okay, so back again, still diving deep into this AI world. And I'm really curious, where does all this go? What's the future looking like?
Well, it's, impossible to say for sure. It's moving so fast. But one thing's for sure. It's not, predetermined. We're building this future every day.
So it's not just like sit back and watch it happen. We're actually making choices that shape it.
Exactly. Every decision, every line of code, every regulation, it all adds up. And that's a big responsibility, right? But also a huge opportunity. We can make sure AI is a good thing for everyone.
AI for the people, right. But how do we actually do that? Make sure it's used for good, not, the opposite.
Well, few things. Transparency is huge.
Right.
We got to be able to see inside these AI systems, how they work, how they decide things, what data they're using. That builds trust.
More like mystery black boxes.
Yeah.
Got to be able to look under the hood. Exactly. And safety mechanisms, ways to make sure they don't cause harm, whether it's, intentional or not.
Makes sense. But it feels so, overwhelming. It's moving so fast.
Yeah.
How can we keep up with all the potential problems?
It is a challenge, but I think we can do it. It's going to take, everyone working together, researchers, policymakers, the public. We got to talk to each other. Be open to, changing course as we learn more.
So it's a team effort. We all have a part to play.
Absolutely. This isn't just for, the tech people or the government. This is about all of us. The more we understand, the better decisions we make.
I like that. It's empowering. But I got to be honest. AI can feel intimidating. It's complex, all this technical stuff. Where does a normal person even begin to, get involved?
That's a good point. Honestly, just stay informed. Read articles, watch documentaries, listen to podcasts. There's tons of good stuff out there explaining the basics.
So the more we know, the less scary it seems.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to, ask questions. If something doesn't make sense, find someone who can explain it. Lots of people in the AI world are, really passionate about sharing what they know.
I like that. Embrace the learning process.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so transparency, safety, everyone being involved. What else should we be thinking about as we, build this AI future?
Well, fairness is huge. Making sure AI doesn't make existing inequalities worse or, create new ones.
Yeah, we've seen those stories, right?
Oh.
AI being biased in hiring, loans, even the justice system.
Exactly. And as it gets more powerful, those biases could have bigger and bigger consequences. We got to build fairness in from the start.
So it's not enough for it to just be smart. It has to be ethical too.
Exactly. We have to think about the impact on people, on society, every step of the way. Who benefits? Who might get hurt? How do we prevent that harm?
A lot to consider. But important stuff. If we want AI to truly be good for everyone.
Absolutely. It's a tough challenge, but worth it. The potential is huge, but we need to be smart about it, careful, and responsible.
Well said. I think that's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into AI. It's been, amazing.
It's been a pleasure. Really enjoyed it.
And to everyone listening, remember, the future is, being written right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a hand in it. So stay curious, stay informed, and let's build an AI future we can all be proud of.